A lot of you guys are currently involved in a mass exodus from places like California or New York. What we've decided to do here at Starting Strength in the Asgard Company is to get you started in assimilating into the rest of normal America by showing you some basic skills that we've all learned in our normal lives that may help you fit in a little bit better where you're going. You might be going to a place like, Idaho or Phoenix, Austin. Although Austin is not too much different from where you're coming from. We're going to talk about cooking with cast iron cookware. So the primary advantage of cast iron cookware is that it is very durable. It'll last forever. It's not expensive. Giant cast iron skillet on the order of 15 inches will cost you about $50, and it'll probably last your entire life, and you can pass it on to your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Contrary to what you may believe or what your uncle in Indiana has told you, cast iron skillets are not inherently good at having even heat distribution. They're manufactured fairly cheaply, and it's a cast process, obviously, so you'll actually get better heat distribution from like an aluminum or a copper pan with a nonstick coating. They're also not inherently nonstick. They require some maintenance, but what they are really good at is holding their heat. So they stay hot for a very long time. So they're great for frying. You can put them in the oven. They're almost completely indestructible. You can shoot them with your gun, use them as targets, and then cook with them later on in the day. So they work really well. There's this is I believe a 10-inch, 8-inch, something like that. This is a combo cooker. So this has like a deep, what is this called? A pan and a skillet. You can pot. Maybe it's called a pot. You can put the lid on it and it acts as a lid, or you can use them separately. I use this to bake sourdough and for other stuff as well. So we cook almost exclusively on cast iron. It's not that hard to take care of. You don't have to be scared of it. But if you do maintain your cast iron cookware well, it'll last for a long time, and you will appreciate its cooking properties for whether you're searing a steak or just making your eggs in the morning. The other big advantage of cast iron cookware is that you can use actual real life cooking tools with it. You can use like things made out of metal and wood and not scratch it up. You can use these kind of spatulas, you can use metal forks, and not damage them, not scratch the nonstick coating like on something Teflon or some other material that you're worried about taking care of. So they're very, very tough. The best way to make sure that you get the best cooking experience with your cast iron is to use them and use them a lot. To dispel some myths very quickly here, you will need to wash your cast iron skillets. So you're gonna season them after every time you use them, and it's not a very involved process. But after you're done cooking, this one over here was used today to cook breakfast. We'll wash it here in a second, but you will wash your cast iron with soap. Soap will not remove the seasoning from your cast iron skillet. Again, despite what your uncle in Indiana who has cast iron cookware tells you, the soap is incapable of removing the seasoning from your cast iron. And when you don't wash your cast iron, all you're doing is baking more old food into the surface that's already there, and you're just chewing on burnt carbon as you cook over and over and over again. The process by which the seasoning adheres to the skillet is through polymerization, and it's a chemical process. There's nothing that your sponge and the Dawn soap that you're putting on the skillet can do to undo that process through normal usage. Obviously, you can overdo it, and you can rub all the way back down to the metal as if you're sanding it, but that's going to take a lot of effort to do. So go ahead and wash it. Use a scrubber. Use this thing to scrape the food off of it. You wash it with soap, get everything off of it, and then you're going to season it. And when you season your cast iron, you're going to put it on the stove. You're going to put a light coating of oil on it. We just use canola oil. You can use really any kind of oil. If you want to be a nerd and get really serious about it, go on the internet and find all the different kinds of oils and why some are better than others. We just use regular canola oil or olive oil, put it on the pan at a light coat, and then turn the heat up on high. Get the pan hot again. As soon as the oil starts to smoke, turn the flame off, wipe the rest of the oil off, and your pan is now seasoned, and that's it. It just takes a couple of extra minutes, and that's as much maintenance as these things are going to need. In the typical course of a day, cook, wash it, season it, put it back on the stove, let it air out, or let it air dry, and then you're done, and that's it. So give cast iron a try. It's not hard to do. You can sear with it. You can put it directly on a campfire. You can put it in the oven. You can bake with it. It's very versatile, and you'll use it every single day of your life.